Hey everyone, I only have a few minutes on my battery left, I think, so I'm going to try to make this quick. But I know I've already done kind of bookish 2018 goals as far as individual books I want to read and authors and series that I want to read, but another type of video that I've seen floating around recently is big books of, or big book lists that people want to read in 2018, and the most recent one I saw was Ange's From Beyond the Pages, so I decided it would be a lot of fun for me to do one of those, but you might see some crossover between some series and authors and some individual books with some new things, because I've kind of thought more about the classics that I want to read this year. So I have several big classics as well, and I'm sorry if I seem out of breath. I kind of just ran up the stairs right before I started filming. So, anyway. Okay, so first, we have the Game of Thrones books. So I want to reread the first one, and then I want to read Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, and A Dance with Dragons. So I think maybe it would be good to do one of these every other month, and that way I can read them where I finish the last one either in November or December, and then also hopefully then we'll be another year closer to the publication of Winds of Winter, so I don't have to wait as long between Dance with Dragons and Winds of Winter. And then I also have 3 of the books in the Outlander series, which is Dragonfly and Amber, which is book 2, Voyager, which is book 3. Both of these will be rereads. And then Drums of Autumn, which is book 4, which, according to this little bit of paper bookmark, I was 200 pages into when I set it aside before college. So because the last time I read this was before college, this is it's been about 10 years since I've reread these two, so I'm very excited about that. But I figured if I read these two and this one, that way I'm caught up to where the show is, and I'm also hoping to maybe get season 3 of Outlander for my birthday, maybe. Wait, season 3? No, sorry, season 2. And then maybe I'll hopefully get season 3 later on, because I think season 3 is supposed to come out on DVD in like March, maybe. So anyway, I'm hoping to get season 2 for my birthday and then season 3 later. So I will probably time rereading this one with rewatching season 2, because I did actually get season 2 from the library and watch it, but I don't remember a ton except the very end. But anyway, so yes, these are on the list. And I was going to try to read more in the series this year, but I figure then I'm at least caught up to where the show is, and that way I can read some other big books as well. So those, and I think I've decided that I don't want to be reading a Game of Thrones book, a Song of Ice and Fire book and an Outlander book in the same month, so I'll alternate with those. And then another big one, actually my current big one that I'm reading is Last Chronicle of Barset by Anthony Trollope. This is the... oh, never mind. I thought I'd marked it, but it's actually the library tape. But anyway, this is the last book in that series, and I am going to be reading this a little bit all month long, because I was supposed to read it with Katie from Books and Things, but I let it fall by the wayside, and she went ahead and finished it, which I totally understood. So we're just going to talk about this when I'm finished, so hopefully I'll be finished with this by the end of the month. And then for some classics that I want to get to. My priority classic that I will be reading incredibly slowly, like I do not want to rush this, is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. And I know that this has been on my list for years, and I just feel like I'm reading it, I feel like I'm approaching it wrong. Like, I need to figure out a way to read this where I can actually get through it. And I don't know if I want to reread Volume 1 right now, or if I want to start with Volume 2, because I have read all of Volume 1, but it's been a year at this point, so I'm wondering if it would be better for me to just go back to the beginning. I might try to do that, and then if that doesn't work, I'll just start with Volume 2 again. But I think I'll just need to devise a reading plan where I read this incredibly slowly, but finish it by the end of the year. So maybe, since it's 1,200 pages, maybe if I say like 100 pages a month, that would be good. I'm not really sure. But anyway, this is my top priority classic. And then other classics I want to read are Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, which I believe is the longest of her, of any of the Bronte works. This is 600 something pages, so that's why I'm including it in this list. And I do have some other classics that are nearly as long, but that I'm not including, because basically if it's under 500 pages or around 500 pages, I'm not including it. These are all just books that are over 500. So that one, and then I mentioned Last Chronicle of Barset, and then, sorry, I had an itch, but anyway, Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This one will be a sooner rather than later classic, because I just got the TV series for Christmas, and it's a TV series that I've seen before, but it's the last one of her adaptations that I needed to own, and I completely love it, and I'm rewatching it currently with my mom. We only have one episode left, and this is just making me really need to pick up this book. So I think after I finish Moreland Cottage, maybe I'll have this as my classic for, well, I was going to say as my classic for February, but I'm also reading Villette by Charlotte Bronte with Amanda J. and Janet from Swirly Girly Reads. So maybe I'll just have this as my, like, bigger classic for the month of February. We'll see. And then I have Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. I almost said Charles Dance, but anyway, Charles Dickens. And I might be buddy reading this with Amanda J. I think we mentioned a couple classics that we wanted to buddy read together this year, and I'm pretty sure this one was also on the list, but I might be completely wrong. I'll have to go back and check the comments of Amanda's video, but if so, it will be great to have a buddy read for this. And as you can tell, I got a little bit into it. I don't remember why I stopped. I think I stopped because this was... Oh, okay, so I was reading this, and I thought I was going to finish reading it in time to read Oliver Twist with Katie from Books and Things when we were buddy reading that together, and it turns out I didn't finish this in time, so I put this aside in favor of Oliver Twist. And then, I think that was the time when I decided I was just going to read the Dickens books in whatever order I wanted instead of chronological order like I originally planned. So I think after Oliver Twist, that's when I picked up David Copperfield instead of picking this back up. So with this, I'll probably start from the beginning again. And then I have Dombey Son, also by Charles Dickens. There's a lot of Charles Dickens books that I want to read this year, excuse me. And with this one, I'm hoping to buddy read this with Ange from Beyond the Pages. I think we're aiming for March, so I hope that that works, but I'm not totally sure. But anyway, I'm hoping that'll happen. And then I also have Old Curiosity Shop by Charles Dickens. I just really want to read this year because I've been meaning to read it for a while, and I now have 2 different film adaptations of it to watch. So yes, very curious about this one. And I've discovered 1 or 2 spoilers concerning this story, so I sort of want to go ahead and read it before I discover any more spoilers. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited about this, and I love this cover. I think it's awesome. Next, we have another Charles Dickens. This is Little Dorrit, and this, to be truthful, is the one that I am most excited about. Probably tied with the next one that I'll show you in a minute, but this is one of my favorite TV miniseries of all time, so I am very excited to dive into the source material, and I love the pattern on this one. It says DNF, which, you know, now on BookTube, the first thing I think is did not finish, but that is not what this stands for, and I can't tell you what it stands for because it's part of the plot. But anyway, yeah, I love it. So very excited for that. And then the last one I have, I think it's the last of the classics, is Bleak House by Charles Dickens, which, again, this is probably tied with Little Dorrit as far as my excitement goes. I'm incredibly excited to get to this one because, again, the miniseries is one of my favorite TV miniseries of all time. So excited to get to the source material. So, yeah, super excited for this one. And I love this picture, too. I think it's very, very cool. So, yes. And, okay, I have 2 kind of chunker nonfiction that I want to read. The first being Alan Turing, The Enigma by Andrew Hodges. This is the book that The Imitation Game was based on, and I loved that film, so I immediately went out and bought the book. But I still haven't read it, even though that was several years ago now. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite films, so I'm very excited to read the source material. And then another one is The Brontes by Juliet Barker. I am attempting to read all of the rest of the Brontes' work this year, as well as some biographies. One is Elizabeth Gaskell's biography of Charlotte Bronte, which actually is probably over 500 pages, so I should probably include that here, but I'm not totally sure if it is, so maybe, maybe not. But anyway, I want to read that, and I want to read Take Courage by Samantha Ellis, which is about Anne Bronte, and then The Brontes by Juliet Barker, which is the one included in this video because it's like 800 pages or something like that. So yes, I would love to read those 2. And another one that I'm kind of like sort of leaning towards reading, but I'm not totally sure if I will, is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, because I love that miniseries. I seem to really want to read books that I love the miniseries of, but anyway, love that miniseries, so I really want to go ahead and read that book, but I've been saying that for a few years now, so we'll see, but hopefully. And then the last couple books that I don't have to show you are the Dance to the Music of Time series by Anthony Powell, which, I'm, like, if you look at them as 12 books, they wouldn't be included in this video, but the versions that I'm going to be reading are the 4 bind-ups, which include 3 books each. So when they are in the bind-up, it's done in movements, so it's the first movement, second movement, third movement, and fourth movement. And when they are in the bind-ups, they're like at least 500 pages, I want to say. Maybe like 600 or 700, but I will be buddy reading those with Katie from Books and Things. So those are definitely included in this, but I don't have them to show you because I will be getting them out of the library. But anyway, that is my list. It's a very long list, so I probably won't get to all of these, but I like having a bunch of options throughout the year. And I figure if I read at least like 1.5 big books a month, then I'll at least get to, what is that, 18 of these, and there's only like 22 of them maybe, so I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. But let me know what big books you guys are reading this year. Let me know if you will be reading any of these, or if you have read them, what your thoughts were, non-spoilery please. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.